Welcome to Live Action Star Wars. I'm Ralph.
I'm James.
And today we are discussing Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Episode 8, The Real Good Guys, with Patrick Cotnoir.
A real good guy.
You brought me in so fast. I was on a different tab and didn't think I would come in that quick.
I didn't even bounce you out.
Didn't go anywhere.
You've been here the whole time.
Oh, really? Oh, great.
Even though I just learned about the space bar getting rid of you and bringing you back.
Show them the space bar.
I hit the space bar. Oh, now it's not going.
Oh,
wow.
That is weird. Yeah, mine doesn't work either. Yeah, that's weird. Some of these fun features might be going away because it turns out that Ralph's been paying for a super deluxe version of StreamYard for the last 4 months and didn't know it.
Yeah.
So our fancy fonts that everyone cares about and that people tune in for might be going away, I'm afraid, people.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Time to stop tuning in, guys.
Pull one out.
Patrick, I noticed your setup is different than normal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was supposed to be on last week.
Last week.
It's only been a week, by the way.
It's been a week though.
It feels like a year. Had to evacuate my house, and everything has been taken off the walls, and my apartment is a mess. So I was like, I'm not going to use my regular setup just because it looks terrible at this point. But yeah, no, I basically tore apart the house as I was leaving. Hi, Sarah. So everything's a little out of whack, and I think today is probably the last day we need to worry about it for now. So it'll be put back up in time for Monday's George Lucas Talk Show live stream fundraiser for the California Community Foundation to raise money for people displaced by wildfires.
If any of our audience don't already know about that, please go and donate.
I
know about it now.
I've
been off Instagram.
Okay. LTS Fire. That's our fundraising tab. Yeah. Sorry to immediately plug stuff.
No. It's good.
No,
I'm glad
fine.
you did. That's why we wanted you to bring up the horrible shit that you've been going through this past week, so that you could.
And the new might as well talk about the new podcast as well.
Oh, sure, let's do it. No, I should say I am fine. The fire did not ultimately come near me, so I'm good to go. A lot of other people have been way more impacted than I am.
Yeah, of course.
The new podcast is called Hey, That's Me, a commentary podcast. It's me and my friend Brian Lynch, who wrote the Minions movies and Secret Life of Pets and Hop and a whole bunch of stuff. And we do commentaries on movies and TV shows with people who never got to do commentaries on them. That's directors, that's actors, that's screenwriters, whoever we can wrangle in to do it. But coming, I believe, next week probably. We took 2 weeks off just because things were insane, but is going to be Dane DeLegro, who played the Predator in the movie Prey in 2022, the one that just
amazing.
And it freaking rules. It's great.
That's great.
That is
I love that movie.
Next week. Yeah.
I should have not done a commentary for my movie.
I know, I'm very upset about it.
I mean, Patrick, you're technically in that movie. You could still do it.
Wow! Imagine if I did. I love that you said I'm technically in the movie.
I mean, your face isn't your voice definitely is.
No, my face is in it. My face is in during the credits.
You have the
okay.
line.
Oh yeah.
You have 2 lines.
I have 2 lines and 1 non-speaking shot.
And one of the lines is that you're not seen.
Yes, it's great. It's great. Thank you.
If you do that commentary, would I be able to join you?
No, because you already.
No, don't do that. You got cooler people than me.
Well, but I'm saying you've already done one, so you're already out.
Well, you haven't.
That's true. I haven't. Yeah. I don't know.
Would you need someone else to host it though? Because you'd be the "Hey, that's me" subject.
It's a great. Well, we've. I'll say this as a little exclusive. We've done one of Brian's movies. It just has not come out yet.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did Jorge came over in like 2010 or something to our place and did a commentary with Darmalars for Trisha Tanaka is Dead.
I remember.
episode of Lost, which is still, you could still watch on the internet. Jay Glatfelter happened to be in town. He's also on that commentary.
Oh, that's very fun.
I love commentaries, and I miss them, and I feel like I feel like the world is a worse place because nothing gets released on physical media, and if it does, there's nothing on it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you get one
Yeah.
deleted.
I feel like episodes only really at this point. It feels like, yeah. It's I just miss DVD features in general. Like I'm not someone who's clung to physical media. I think it's great that it's out there. I just haven't had the space to do it or the money to keep going with it. But it's I wish and I miss those days, those like halcyon days of DVDs. They were great.
Yeah. I mean, the goal with this is that you can watch it along with the movie, or if you're like, I've already seen Prey, you can just listen to it.
It's a podcast. Yeah,
it's a podcast.
Yeah.
And I think it works either way for most of them. We did American Graffiti with Candy Clark, which was crazy.
Yeah.
There's a little George related thing for you. And I'll say this: we have two Star Wars commentaries coming up.
Ooh.
Oh, Star Wars related?
That's not what I said, Ralph.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna put in the private chat.
Prequel? Oh, well, why? I can't say anything.
I'm not giving you the.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So it's a fun show. Check it out. We also have a Patreon if you want to give a couple bucks. That's also patreon.com/commentary.
Great. Oh, that's nice that you're able to get that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really? Just commentary?
Commentary. That was
amazing. That's so good.
That's awesome.
What other like open Patreons are there that we could just take just in case people want to donate to things?
Patreon.com/money one. Let's see.
It's got to be.
Why does it feel like something that Elon would have? Like, it'd just be, yeah.
Okay, so this guy, a man named Jonathan Brook, is squatting on patreon.com/money, but he is not actively using it.
That's great.
That's up, Jonathan.
That's great.
Damn it.
I feel like I'm squatting on patreon.com/casino skunk because I haven't posted an episode in so long and I feel bad. And I'm
all
like,
those casino skunks out there are trying to get it.
I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, I'm done with the movie. I've got some time, and then I got sick.
Yeah.
So
I think you're fine, Ralph.
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
And one of these days, probably. Well, I say one of these days. I'm having a baby in like 2 months. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. Thank you. Did you not know? Yeah. Not 2 months. That's a bit quick. April. Beginning of April, we got a kid on the way. So yeah, and we're moving. Like, hence all of this. Yeah, that's happening in like 2 weeks. So this will probably be the last podcast from this house.
Yes.
Which is it's fun.
Which maybe I reached out to Mick. And he said he would be willing to join us to talk about Skeleton Crew.
Oh, maybe.
Great.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get one more in them. Maybe that'd be awesome if we can get one more here. Because I'd like just.
I think we also invited Patrick on to talk about Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, when was that? When should we do that? Do you reckon, Patrick? Are you free now?
You want to?
You want to do it right now?
I think we should.
Sure.
What have you been thinking of the series on the whole? Ralph's got something first.
Ralph's got something.
Here's the thing, like famously, Ralph,
that guy.
The season finales of these Star Wars show just like totally like put a damper on the whole seasons for me. I think Ahsoka finale was dumb. Mandalorian season 3 finale I thought was just dumb. Well, Mandalorian season 2 finale, I was like bawling like a little baby because of Luke Skywalker and stuff. So that one was fine. Obi-Wan was fine. Andor, again, it's 3 stories, so you get 3 great finales. They stuck it. But this show, I was so scared. I was really scared. I'm like, guys, you really have me on this one. I really enjoy the show. Please, can you just like stick the landing? And I was just like waiting for it to like get unraveled and unstuck. But I think they stuck the landing, and I think I love the show head to toe. And I think I'm going to say it. It is my favorite Star Wars TV show.
Great.
Whoa. That rules.
Because I feel like Andor, even though technically it's a perfect show, it doesn't feel like Star Wars.
It doesn't need
it's like really
the Star
good.
Wars tag for it to be good.
Yeah. So the show, and Again, the first thing I did was I texted Mick because he keeps telling me, he's like, I hope you like it. I hope you like it. And I'm like, I hope so too. And I told him last night, I said, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because you worked on the show, but I fucking love this show. It's so good. It made me so happy.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good. There was some news this week about the viewing hours because I guess that's how they do it.
Who
with streaming
cares?
things? And I know exactly, like, who cares? But I was just like, I hated seeing those reports pop up and just how like low it was for this, even compared to Acolyte and stuff. I was like, who gives a fuck? The show's excellent. Like anyone who's watching it seems to be really into it, and I think that's what matters. It's like the right people are going for it.
Totally. The nice thing about this versus Acolyte, which I like Acolyte, I'm not saying that at all. This one does end in a way where it's like, if this is it,
that's it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I would be bummed. I'd be sad that I never saw these kids again. But it ends differently than Acolyte, where Acolyte, I'm like, oh, all right.
That's not done yet. Yeah.
I guess I gotta read a comic book 6 years from now about
know,
like that's what that's gonna be. But yeah, I'm happy. I really like the show. I think it's very fun. It's a bummer to me that no one is talking about it. It seems like outside of my Star Wars circles,
Yeah.
But I think it was really fun. I was trying to last night. I was like, let's rank the kids. I was like, in my brain,
ranking children, perfectly healthy, normal thing to do.
Yeah. But I was like having trouble with it because I was like, well, obviously Neil's number one, and then I was like, well, no, I like KB. Like I was like going through all of them. It was like,
I mean, it's KB and Neil are 1 and 2. I don't know which way round I put them, but they are 1 and 2, definitely.
Yeah. I really liked it though. I don't know. I think it's I think it was fun and easy and chill. I have one problem with the show, and I texted Ralph immediately about this last night. Why'd they hide the damn pirate's head when they were looking at Captain
Renard? Yeah, that's
why'd they hide it?
Yeah, that feels a bit like mystery boxy for the sake of it without paying it off.
Yes, it's the one thing that I'm like, even if they're like later gonna be like, oh my gosh, Captain Renard is the supervisor, right? Even if that was what they were like trying to make you think, it wouldn't matter because we didn't know what the supervisor looked like. So like it was a reveal when you saw the supervisor that, oh my god, it was the pirate guy. Like, but that was not applicable, so it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
And they're not, because of when Captain Renard's from, like timeline wise, it's not like we know that there's another show coming up where he might show up or something. It's like,
but he's dead. We know he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's had a sword in his chest.
Yeah, it is weird, and it feels like antithetical to the way the rest of the show has gone, where it's like they've not really done that mystery thing too much. It's like they've told you that he isn't a Jedi, he's not a good guy. Like they've told you that this planet isn't really all it's shaped up to be. They've not.
There was no surprises.
Out these big mysteries, and so to leave that, it's just like it's weird. But again, as Ralph said, I don't care. I don't think it's show breaking in any way. But it's like, it's just a bit weird.
Ultimately, I don't care, and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But at the end, the first thing I was like, huh? Why'd they do that? Like that was just the first thing I thought of.
It's funny because I think like a couple weeks into it, we're like, oh, we think it's a mint. And I think we actually said it's a mint.
Yeah, I think someone definitely did.
And then since like episode 2, we're like, oh, the supervisor is just like a droid and it's not a person.
I've been
I gotta say though, like there's been no surprises, but it's been like, because the characters are good and the adventure is fun and it's a mystery to them. I'm an adult that figured out a kid's show. I'm not like bragging here. But it was laid out really fun in a really fun way. The supervisor, the fact that it was an astromech droid head that was just giant, because I was like, why is the eye turned blue and then red? Like what's it, what does that mean? And then I realized, oh no, it's like R2 has a red and blue blinky light on his So I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's stupid. It's fun. It essentially, for me, I was like, oh, I'd rather go over to John Watts's house to play Star Wars than
Yeah.
like Jon Favreau's house to play Star Wars.
Yeah.
I feel like
Favreau's over there going like with them all on the shelf, just being like, look at all my cool toys. I've got this guy and this guy, and he knows all the names and everything like that. Whereas John Watts is like, let's have fun. Let's just play with them. Like it doesn't matter what we're doing, we're just playing with them. Let's throw in some other toys from other things that just happen to fit the same scale. Like
Fetz brings up this comment, and I want to ask you guys a question about it. He says Skeleton Crew feels the most Lucas, like if he made it in '88. Do you ever watch these Star Wars things and be like, I wonder if George Lucas watches this one? And what does George Lucas think about this one?
It is interesting. This does feel like one that he would like.
Agreed.
That's what I think.
It's a kid's adventure. It's exactly the sort of shit that he is all about.
Yeah.
But like Neil in a bathtub again.
Yeah.
like
like
that's something that I'm sure like
even going back a few episodes with like the heart like putting the attendant in his mouth, like that felt like a George type gag.
Yeah. We didn't see enough of that hut.
I mean, you never know. That could have been Rothsa. That hut could be coming back.
Oh my god.
He better. He better. What a guy.
I mean, there was stuff about the Mando and Grogu movie was like leaked out if anything is to be made of that. So like
if that is, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
I don't spoil anything for people that are have not read anything, but what a time to be alive.
It's certainly something. I mean, it's what a time.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys need to rank the kids now. Sorry.
KB, Neil, Fern, Wim.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's probably mine.
For me, I think it's Neil, KB, Fern, Wim.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's
but I gotta say, like this episode, I really liked Wim and Fern probably the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They had the most to do for sure.
And I wanted more Neil.
Neil
He's in the bathtub.
He got on the cannon, and the cannon paid off, which was great because like that was set up last time. Like they went to the other school, but it didn't do much there. That felt like something that could have been like a little bit longer. He could have like I don't know shot someone down, but he's not someone who wants violence. I think he was more there just like causing a distraction.
Yeah.
So
it was so funny because Stevie. It's so funny because Stevie said, "Oh, there's a cannon on the school," and I completely forgot. I was like, "Oh yeah, they got the same school." Like that was set up. It was a thing that was set up that came up later, and I was like, "That's great." Like it didn't do anything.
Yeah. On Wikipedia, the boy who plays Neil is just credited as the voice of Neil, and then someone else is the body. I didn't know that.
I assumed he was in the thing.
That's what I thought too.
I thought he was too, but then there was someone else who was like a stunt performer who is in there for some of it. It might be one of those situations like what they do with Chewie or with Mando, even where it's like it's a few and he's in there sometimes.
You think the Neil boy is like Pedro? He's just too busy and he can't be on set.
I mean, absolutely, yeah. He's got gladiator movies to be in.
I would love it if
just recut Gladiator 2 with Robert Timothy Smith.
Yes. What a guy. That's very
like just seeing all the press with these kids though, like they seem like they're having a great time. They seem like they genuinely have like bonded as a little skeleton crew. So it's I hope we get more of them. Like the way it's left, you could easily bring back Jude Law, but the kids, that could just be a wrapped up adventure for them. But they're great and they work so well together. It'd be a real mistake to like leave them on the table.
Yeah,
you check back in, like, and they're obviously going to be grown up by a few years, so you can check back in, and they're all in high school now, and they're out in the galaxy. Maybe it's them on Coruscant, like going to New Republic University or something.
Them on Hosnian Prime, all doing fine.
Working for the government.
Working for the government.
That's great.
Did you ever? Here's the thing that is hard with a show like this. I
Okay.
don't know if I was ever convinced that any of the kids would get hurt.
No,
No,
You
no
know?
chance.
not at all.
Yeah.
But you sort of want that sense of danger in there.
Mm.
But while I was
Well,
watching,
But the
it was
kids feel,
very-
kids felt like KB
Yeah.
was in danger.
Yeah.
So like, and I bought that they bought at that. So
And
like,
John did as well.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
did, and I think John, like, I mean, again, Jude Law. There's not enough good things can be said
Yeah.
about Jude Law's performance in this show, because when he's threatening them, like he doesn't want to hurt them. I believe him when he says he doesn't want to hurt them. All he wants is the money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The fact that he says like begin the invasion to the rest of the pirate band is a bit much. I think he's like that sort of solidified him as a villain, as a bad guy. But
Yeah.
John did not want to hurt any of them, and he feels bad. I think like when KB goes down and stuff like that, and I think he genuinely is feeling bad about that happening, and then sort of proud of the kids as well at the end when they get the better of him. Like that little half smirk smile that he gives at the end when he's like, well, shit, that's my pirate crew done. That's this plot and scheme done, but on to the next one. Like, I think he's just that kind of guy. He's like, he's always going to be able to talk his way around or out of a situation, even if he gets locked up for 6 months or something. Like, he'll get out. He'll be fine.
Right. Yeah.
I said it in the first episode. Or the second episode. He's doing a better Johnny Depp, like Captain Jack, than Captain Jack was. Like, outside of that first movie, he became a caricature of himself, and this is doing a very, very similar character, but better.
The thing I like about StreamYard is none of these comments are in all caps, but then when Ralph puts them on screen, they become all caps, and it feels like everyone is yelling what they're saying, and I think it makes it a lot more. John is not a bad guy per se. Like,
So,
my favorite to shout would be, "Baby!"
So when I set up the fonts, I did it like in the 2 minutes before we went live on an episode. I think it was with Adam where I realized, oh, you could change the fonts, and you're supposed to like have one font, but then you add like the italicized version, the lowercase version.
Yeah.
And I just uploaded one of them because we're about to go live, and I'm like, hey, it's the font I use for all my stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, it's just all gigantic. I could fix it, but it's going away soon. So
yeah, fuck it.
So do you guys think we will ever really go back to Ad-Ad? Do you like legitimately in film or television? Do you think we will see Ad-Ad again?
I think there's going to be a book. I believe that this old Republic credits is now in the hands of the New Republic.
Yeah.
As shown by that blockade runner, which I was like, holy shit! Like they're really like John Watts is like definitely like a Return of the Jedi fan and like a classic trilogy like toys fans. B-Wings. I did not expect to see B-Wings.
I lost my shit.
Arguably.
I mean, but we haven't seen it like much.
No, I agree.
And I'm so excited to see them actually like do something. We saw them in Rebels and they were great. We saw them a bit at the Battle of Exegol. But like I don't think outside of that we've really seen B-Wings do anything. And I loved seeing that, and seeing them do their like laser thing was fun. But yeah, like they're used as bombers. Like that's what they're for. It's good. It's really, really good. Yeah. I mean, I guess they get rolled into the Republic, but they are all going to have to be brought up to speed that, you know, things have changed. So at first I thought that was Urkel that was left on the planet at first. Like they fly off and they leave one of the pirates like running after them. And I thought that was him. But then we later on see him on the ship, like sat in the captain's chair.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's dead.
Okay. That's a bummer.
I was distracted by him.
Is Beef dead? Do we know about Beef? Have we talked about Beef here?
I haven't talked about Beef.
But we know that Beef exists.
Beef is there. Yeah, yeah. Beef is
the guy whose like face is kind of messed up. The big guy. He's got a beard.
Oh, okay. I didn't know his name was Beef.
Dominic Burgess.
His name is Beef.
Yeah. We got
That's
Beef.
Cool.
Gunter, Brutus, Vane, obviously. Loads of Vane in this episode.
Yeah.
Kona. Yeah, it was loads. The pirates were great. I really enjoyed the pirates.
Beef. Great.
Beef, a Star Wars story.
The pirates are great. They're so fun. I liked how many creatures there were in the show. I feel like a lot of the Star Wars TV shows shy away from creatures, I assume, just because they're expensive,
Yeah.
and like hard to do on a television schedule. But it is nice that at least one of the main characters was a creature, and like a lot of the secondary. Hi, Mick. Glurb. We like Glurb too.
Yeah.
But beef.
What's his name, Patrick?
His name is Beef. How great is that?
It's amazing. It was so much fun.
But I'm here to advocate for more creatures on Star Wars TV. That's my thing. Pop some more in
It almost felt
it feels like
it feels like the production went into the Lucasfilm archives and grabbed like any old thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
pulled out a Wolfman. We haven't seen one of them since '97. Like, it's I mean, they shied away from it early in the TV, but like I feel like the last few shows, there's been a few more. I feel like they're sort of slowly reintroducing them. I'm still convinced that there is an actual reason why we haven't seen Bothans yet, but they're sort of holding off on Bothans. But
they're hanging on for Rope 2.
Yeah, maybe.
I remember looking at Bothans on like Wikipedia or something on the internet, like when it first like came around and you could start looking stuff up on the internet. I thought they kind of looked dumb.
I mean, they do, but that's part of the charm.
And Ralph, I have great news for you. That's not what they look like anymore necessarily.
Exactly.
Oh,
they don't have
did
to
they
look
change?
like that.
Is that Legends?
We've just never seen them.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah. Like even in comics and stuff, I don't think they've maybe they have in comics. But like it doesn't really Yeah.
Okay.
There's not been like really much Bothan action in any new canon stuff. So yeah, they could have completely changed them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But will people get mad?
Of course they will. Star Wars, it's the internet. But fuck them. Like it can be fun. Like
Stop getting mad at Star Wars, everyone. Jesus.
I know.
What? Like, oh my god. I don't get it. Like as much as I didn't like the finale of Acolyte and that stupid Yoda thing was stupid, I still like Star Wars and I still like the Acolyte a whole lot. Like when are people gonna realize like it's a lightsaber?
Yeah.
And also if you don't
look who's showing up.
Hey, look who showed up.
Hello.
It's the composer of Skeleton Crew, Mick Giacchino. Mick, how you doing?
I just had to come defend Glurb and his glowweed farm.
I mean, absolutely. You're always welcome on the show and to defend Glurb. We love
Mick,
Glurb.
here's the thing. Glurb's dead. You know who's not dead? Beef.
I know, but like, I was so bad for him. I was like, he's got this big moment where he's like, walking and they're like, all right, we're setting you in. And, and then, he had aspirations. He had dreams.
Yeah.
It's the real tragedy of the show.
Mick, what was the easiest moment to score in this show? And what was the hardest moment?
Oh, that is a good question. Oh man.
Wow, you really put him on the spot.
I know that's
Mick just came in here to defend Glurb. Patrick's coming in with like
okay, how about you could think about that. How about an easier one? Like what the decision on using the theremin, and was it a real theremin?
So it was actually a synth theremin in combination with actually guitar. I had a synth that I had kind of programmed to sound like a theremin, and then I asked the guitarist that I was working with, I was like, hey, can you also do a layer that is theremin-y guitar? So he played with the slide and stuff. But that was something I didn't think they were going to go for, and when everyone heard it, they were like, "Oh, this is great." I was like, "Really? We can use it?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do it."
That's great.
Yeah.
How much freedom did you get for any sort of experimenting with like that in general? Was there anything they said no to?
Slide whistle.
Maybe the and I don't know if this would be the hardest, but one of the harder scenes was at first Port Borgo when they first get off of the ship.
Mhm.
And the pirate theme comes in because I did that a couple different versions where I wasn't sure how playful to be yet, because the first version was definitely way too jaunty and kind of like, sea shanty.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, we like it, but it's it's a little too fun. This is slightly more dangerous. So then we kind of
menace.
fell into what it became. But there was, I don't know. I mean, I think there wasn't really a lot that they said no to. It was I from the beginning I knew that they wanted something Amblin-y. I knew that they wanted something that was adventurous and fun, but also could sound dangerous. And so and all the movies that they loved, that they were like pulling inspiration from for this, was like obviously Explorers, Goonies, E.T., and those all have orchestral scores with like a little bit of synth in it too. And so that's kind of the approach that I wanted to take with it, and they liked it. So
it's amazing.
Okay, so Patrick posed this question to us, and we're going to pose it to you. Can you rank the kids?
Rank the kids? Like just as characters, or like as like
like your favorites, or like
I mean, I love them all for different reasons, but
I
think like I don't know. I always liked. I mean, look, Neil is a national treasure right there.
Yeah.
But I feel like
he's great. Finn Win.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I would want. I feel like if I were to say like who I'm most like, it'd probably be somewhere between Wim and Fern, where like where I am. I feel like I would think that I would be more like Fern, and I would probably end up being more like Wim.
Yeah,
I
think that tracks probably for all of us.
Episode 7, where he's like, he's like, we have to take the ship back, and she's like, all right, we're gonna make a plan, and he just runs into it, so. But I don't know. I think I have Neil in me as well.
I love a nice bubble
children.
You mentioned pulling from like other things as far as inspiration. Are there any like Easter eggs in the show that maybe people haven't noticed?
Oh yeah, there's one in particular that I thought for sure people might pick. I mean, well, like nerds in particular would pick up on, but was when the crab shows up in episode 7. That was my take on Mysterious Island by Bernard Herrmann, because they had the giant stop motion crab.
Oh, that's
cool. So just those old monster movies. I mean, one of the most fun things to do was re-record the holiday special music.
Yeah,
right.
In the first episode, yeah.
Now, here's a question about that.
Yeah.
They have the original tracks. Did you just listen to the video?
All they could give us was like some, I think like VHS transfer of it, or there was like it was like the highest quality version of it that they had, at least that I saw. Like again, you could tell it was video, and it was kind of like it was like recorded off of something, and it was like the best version of it that I've seen, but that was it. Like we were like, do you have the sheet music? Do we know like can you track down like anyone? And they were like, yeah, we got nothing. And so we just one of the orchestrators I was working with just did a takedown of it where she just transcribed it all, and then and arranged it for our band, and then we did some synth work on it to try to recreate those and
did you do the whole track
session
or
like
just that sort of small section?
Oh, it was it was just the section you hear. That was all we did. But it was actually funny. There was originally they were thinking about using it again in episode 8 when Wim and Wendell are having dinner. Like and I was like, why is this playing here? Also, it would have been a longer version, so we would have had to record it, which obviously we would have done it if we had to, but we would have recorded it. We had to record it again to get the extended version of it. But it was just kind of like why are they listening to this right now? Like what's happening here?
Can I tell a story really quick about I do this show, the George Lucas Talk Show, for people who are watching or don't know. We put out a record during lockdown with songs that we had recorded, and we had this guy, Granbell Fisher, who's a singer, and he did covers of all of the holiday special songs on it. And when we were putting out the record. The record's great, but they were like, the people who were pressing the record were like, do you own this music? And we were like, I mean, no, we don't. And they're like, okay, we're going to figure out who owns all of these songs. So they figure out most of them, and the two that come back are the B. Arthur song and the Carrie Fisher song, I guess, from the holiday special. And they go, we cannot figure out who owns these. Disney does not own them. CBS does not own them. Lucasfilm does not own them. Like, it's not registered in any ASCAP thing. It's nobody.
Wow.
So they're like, okay, let's figure out who the songwriters are. And it was these two people, Ken and Mitzi Welch, who were like Carol Burnett and like variety show songwriters from the 70s. And both of them are dead. Right. So they're like, okay, who is their next of kin? So they go and they figure out that their daughter is this woman, Gillian Welch, who's like a folk singer who's on the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack. They reach out to her and they go, do you know that you own Star Wars music? And she goes, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And she had no idea this existed. She had no idea that they eventually fall down to her name, like nothing. And so we got to use it for free because she was like, yeah, I don't care, whatever you want.
That's amazing.
It's insane how that special is just like in the ether. And it's like,
I know.
Someone did, I guess. I don't know.
I
Well,
thought,
that was-
Patrick, you were going to say that like she turned around and said, yeah, sure, you can have them. And that you own them or something.
Yeah,
Like,
we
that'd
own
have been
the
insane.
copyright. Yeah, I would love that.
Well, that was the thing is that
Why
like I knew
her?
I
See if we
remember.
could buy them from her.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Well, I remember because we were like I think they did look into using the original tracks. Like but I forget what it was. It was either like too expensive to license or something. But I'm like, I don't know who owns. Again, I mean, I'm sure that I think that was a different composer. I forget who did that, but I think it was a French composer or something. Did like the circus kind of thing. But there was a name for it as well that I also forget. But so it was the cheaper version of it was for us to just re-record it. But also it reminds me of, did you guys ever there was this Star Wars Christmas album that like my dad used to play for me when I was like when I was growing up. Like and it was like me and my cousins all like always saying like R2D2, we wish you Merry Christmas. And like no one else like that I know knows about this.
That Mick, that is the first released piece of music by John Bon Jovi.
That's right. Oh, that's right. He sings that song.
Yeah.
I forgot. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
And that's Miko, right? Or Meko, or is it?
So.
I think so. Mick, did you what did you title the that piece of music?
I mean, we just referred to it as the Hollow Circus, but again, I think at the end, the episode 1 end credits, there's like the proper name for it at the end. But I was say one of my, if want to get into some pun names, one of my favorites was in episode 8 was at Atten Down the Hatches during the pirate invasion.
Great. Yep.
Yeah. Is there? I mean, you may not be able to say this, but like, are they going to release the music in any way? Will people be able to hear the stuff? Okay.
I believe. I mean, yes, very imminently. I forgot
to check iTunes today.
I never know with these things, but it's like you won't have to wait long.
Yeah, good. I
think traditionally it's always come out on the Fridays after those episodes have aired.
So let me ask you this question, because this week we watched episode 8. The finale was great. We loved it. At the end, the last shot we see is the blockade runner, which is my favorite ship in Star Wars. As it's going up towards the moon, the power starts coming back on in the city, but it seems like it's going to the music. Did you score that, or did they put that in after you had already?
So, and you'll hear on the soundtrack, actually, I wrote a slightly longer version of that plays the whole melody on the flute, like kind of, and where it was longer. Cause like, I remember that was, that last episode, we kind of had the review pretty close up to the session. So there was, I remember I just kind of wrote it long. Oh, nice. I wrote it long. And originally that big bum, 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 bum landed on black after it cut to cut. I was like, would they like it if it just we just have this over black and then the credits start? And so there was like 2 different versions of it, but then it was like, no, it should end when everything goes black, and which makes more sense. But so we just edited it, and that ended up landing perfectly with the with the lights coming back on.
That's cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about I have to look at like a list of the cues or whatever just to go back into like remember what was like hard and what was just see a thing. But one thing that I remember which was really fun was when I was trying to figure out again, this was episode 1 where I was still trying to find the tone and stuff, and when Neil and Wim are walking through the forest and to go find the the ravine before they fall down, I was originally trying to score that kind of like in the like kind of more like fun and jaunty and stuff, and then like there was kind of a moment where I was like, well, hold on a second, like they're on a mission right now, they're they are going to explore this thing, and they're taking themselves very seriously. So I did it more seriously, and that's what I showed John Watts and Chris Ford for the first time. And I just remember at the end of that scene, John was like, well, that's not at all what I was expecting, but I love it. Like, let's use it. I think he was thinking about kind of the more playful thing as well with that I had initially also was my instincts, but
cool.
Did they have any temp tracks in place for you to sort of work off of that they had in mind?
Yeah, I mean, like they were kind of like, look, temp is generally a good guide, but if you have another idea, like go for it and like let us, and we can talk about it.
That's good.
Any Williams stuff in there? How does that?
Yeah, there was actually Always was in there at one point.
Oh.
When they
Spielberg.
at the end of episode 7 when they finally make it through the barrier and you see Ad-Aden. It's so weird to be able to like I've always been so careful talking about all the details, and then I'm like, okay, it's all safe now. But at the end of episode 7 when they first see the planet after getting through the barrier, that was Always. I think it was Among the Clouds. I forget the exact name of the track, but
any other like fun stuff? Was there like Explorers and Goonies? And
I was just saying, Explorers was in there. I think there was some Goonies. There was like 1 or 2 Nemo tracks. There was like a Lost one at some point.
Really?
Yeah, it was. It was when they were going
John
down.
Watts trying to get your dad like you
running through the woods. I think it was in episode 6 when they're going down the chute or whatever, the trap door. There was kind of something lofty, so I kind of went for a similar vibe there. There was at the end of the last review though, I had my own version of a little temp thing that I snuck in there, where I played that last cue where it cuts to black at the end of the episode. And as soon as the credits, like the placement credits started rolling, I had Power of Love start. Awesome.
Yeah. That's great.
Here's
the question.
Jod's Shanty. Did you have involvement in the writing of that, or was that script?
No, so I mean, it was originally, I think it was originally a poem that he kind of just did, like he was like, I just want to make it a little more lyrical, and so kind of like sorry, I had a cold a few weeks ago. It was
in the same boat.
I kind of just like interpreted it, and I added chords and kind of did it's close-ish because similar rhythms and stuff. But the idea was to kind of turn it into a little bit of a theme for Tack Renaud. It doesn't appear much, but it comes
up. Definitely, like I picked up after hearing like the song version, like going back and watching episodes again. I was like, you can hear it.
Yeah, because the first time you hear it is in episode 3.
Yeah,
when when Jod's looking at the skeleton, which again I believe is Tack Renaud himself, like, and then he pulls the the knife out or whatever, and so they wanted to highlight it in that way.
Was there ever a version you saw Renaud's face?
I don't
have
think
to tell us
so.
what it was, but like
I can't. No. Definitely not. But I think the version I was working off, I don't even know if there was a guy there. It might have just been I think it was just the throne chair. Like then there was like Tack Renaud like effects added later or whatever. There was just a little.
Any insight on like, because I mean ultimately it doesn't matter, but like. It felt like a mystery, but
I honestly have no idea. I never talked about it with them. I assume it's just like if like we ever want to do something with this character later, we don't want to lock into a design right now because it's not important to the story. That would be my guess, but I
just shoot him a text. Just text him right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
Very.
What was it like just being approached to begin with to do the score for Star Wars?
I mean, it's scary as hell. It's like it's pretty much everything the kid like Wim is feeling of like this excitement, like in kind of like this this wonder. But then there's also there's definitely there's a lot of pressure and a lot of like kind of like like, oh my God, this is a big thing. So it was I liked to think of it more as like again more of an Amblin project than like actually Star Wars, because like there's times where we leaned more into the Star Wars sound a little bit, but also like there's other times where it's more like Goonies or more like Back to the Future or more like Explorers as well. So I think that kind of helped take a little bit of the edge off of it, but just in approaching it.
Did you know what it was when they brought you in initially?
Sorry?
Did they say, "Hey, this is Star Wars" when they brought you in initially?
Yes. The first thing I remember seeing was just a picture of Neil on the monitor.
Cool.
And I was like, initially I was like, everyone else was like, oh my God, Max Rebo. And I was like, oh no, not Max Rebo.
But you get more like the tone of the show just straight from that, don't you? Yes.
Yeah. Scott D asked, did you include any Captain EO music?
No, I've never seen Captain EO.
I've also never seen Captain EO.
You guys are showing your age.
You guys, it's George Lucas and Coppola.
I know. There's no and Michael Jackson's got some great music. There's no reason
I think James Horner did the score.
I went to Disneyland a bunch of times as a kid, and like it was always there, and I was always like, "What is that? I don't know what that is." And
there's a reference.
I distinctly remember jumping around on the fountains outside.
There's a few aliens, I think, right?
Yeah, there's
at least
fur balls or fuzz balls, I think.
Yeah. Tommy asks, what about the musical cue in an earlier ep when Jod sees the skeleton with a knife in it? He heard when the Pharaoh was in Egypt land.
Yes, that was a Ferris Bueller reference right there. Now, it's funny that I hear it now. That sounds very similar, but it was just that. So that's kind of based off of the Tack Renaud poem, kind of chanty, and just kind of that I used a few times throughout. I think it's in episode 5 as well. It comes in more of a statement. Episode 6 is just where he sings it. But I think on the sound, I always forget this was on the soundtrack. I think I replaced like where Jude Law is singing it with just a little synth line playing that melody.
Mm-hmm. But, Stevie hasn't seen Captain EO either. Are we gonna have to set up a screening? Like, can we get a 3D print of Captain EO and watch it together?
Was it a 3D movie?
Yeah, it's a 3D movie.
I mean, it's on YouTube.
But you need the old blue and
the blue and red. Not like James Cameron.
No, it was the Solar Eyes or the It was the first time like that happened. We watched it a bunch when I was a kid. It's not good, but I mean, you got a James Horner score, Michael Jackson songs, Coppola and Lucas, Angelica Houston. Like it's like from a design standpoint, it looks like Star Wars but dirtier.
Yeah,
it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. It's very strange.
Is it fun?
And the story is so. Yeah.
Like I'm all for weirdness.
It reminds me a lot of this show.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I'm
like there's a jacked up robot. There's a little elephant man.
I remember I must have been about 5 when I saw it in, I don't know, 91 or whatever it was. But I remember it just sort of looking enough like Star Wars that I was confused that it wasn't Star Wars. So it sort of had that feel for me back then.
Rob says Captain EO for April Fool's episode. I mean, we can just do it. We can just do it whenever.
Yeah,
you don't have to wait.
Yeah, we had
I mean, check it out. I mean, I know that Michael Jackson and all that, but whatever.
What happened?
Fans of Michael
what
Jackson.
happened?
I don't know.
Was there
but
any temptation to use any sort of Scrooge McDuck music when KB comes sliding out
oh
of
my
the ship?
God.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
That's where my mind went straight
pulled
away.
out all the you know, the cartoon sound effects thing.
Yeah.
We did a version of that, and they were not happy about it. You know, so.
Missed opportunity.
But
So what has been the response to, like, a friend of ours, Chris Santhi, they do a whole podcast about the music of Star Wars.
oh, I think I
And
just saw one of those. Yeah, or
I've been avoiding watching the Skeleton Crew ones because it's a very analytical show, and I'm
Yeah.
afraid of, like, what is the response like for you specifically and the music of the show? Or like, are people cool with it?
Yeah, I mean, actually, people have been like honestly very supportive, and I just saw one of I didn't know you know them. People were tagging me in those on Twitter, and so I ended up checking out one. And I was like, oh my God, this is like deconstructing everything. Like, I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
It's a little frightening.
I was on an episode for Solo, and I felt wildly out of place because I'm just like, I like this movie. I like it. I like music, but I cannot talk about this in the deepness. Like,
so the Solo episode I was on, it was the analysis on the Valacord, and I was oh my God. Like, we looked up the Valacord, and it's like a harp, but it also has like foot pedals and stuff, and it was just like, it's super deep dives, and I'm like, so like, I like, listen, I listen to your music and I love it. Your music on the Penguin is amazing. The Scherzo for a Flightless Bird, I think, is like, it's amazing to see like Colin Farrell go up and accept a Golden Globe to that track.
I know that was
so cool.
That was so wild.
So for me, I just listen to the music. I'm like, this is good. When I watch Skeleton Crew, because I'm a score nerd, so all I do is when I watch movies, I notice the scores. So like, there's a bit in Rogue One where Michael put the classic 77 Imperial theme in, and I like notice that. Yeah. Instead of just watching the movie for the first time, I noticed that. With this show, it got to the point, like the first 2 episodes, I was really like paying attention to the music, but as it progressed, I forgot, like, oh yeah, Mick did the music, and I'm not paying attention. So it feels like you're doing it right, like it's seamless, and you shouldn't be noticing the music. It should just be there to like guide your emotions as you absorb the scene. And you did that, and I thought it was wonderful. And I'm hoping that people on the internet are also like, yeah, this is great. I hope that the over analyzing doesn't like mess anything up for you or anything. It was fine. I think the only thing that really stood out for me was the theremin, because I was like, holy shit, that's a theremin. And then my brain, my Rolodex was going, have we heard theremin in a Star Wars movie before? Have we heard it in anything? And I couldn't think of anything.
And that's what I was so, because people kept asking me, it was like, is this the first time theremin's been used in Star Wars? And like, you know, I don't know quite how to answer that, because like, first off, you know, it's a synth theremin, like it does the vibe, but we didn't have a real performer. But also, I'm like, there are hundreds of maybe thousands of hours of shows, and like I haven't seen all of everything from all the animated shows either. And so I'm like, if there was like in like one random episode in the middle of Clone Wars that I haven't seen, that where it's like there's theremin there, I'm like, you know, I can't confidently say yes to it. But yeah, there's and Ralph, it's funny that because you said after the first 2 episodes you kind of like start, because those were the only 2 episodes that have John Williams or music that is not original to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Or those ones, yeah, with the holiday special and the Force theme statement.
Mick, what IP would you want to do that you have not done? Because I feel like you've done
Gremlins.
You had that one loaded. You had that one definitely loaded.
Would you like?
Got
wow, look at him.
My brain gremlin right here. I just did a double feature with some friends like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
Gremlins and Gremlins 2, yeah. And then
Gremlins 2 and Looney Tunes back in action.
We followed it up with the Key and Peele sketch.
Great.
That's great.
Dude, I saw that Shoot, why can't I think of his name? The director,
Joe Dante.
Joe Dante. Joe Dante said that Key and Peele sketch is pretty much accurate on how they decided to do Gremlins
that's
2.
hilarious.
Have you seen Looney Tunes Back in Action?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is one of my
because I love
favorite.
Dante.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite inside jokes ever. Are you familiar with the car called the Gremlin? It's like from the 70s. It's like a real junky car.
Yeah.
So like Daffy Duck and all those guys and Brendan Fraser are like going into, they're gonna like jump in my car. Which one is it? And it's like a shitty Gremlin.
Oh yeah. I see that.
As soon as they show that car, Jerry Goldsmith plays the Gremlins theme. Like it doesn't, like it's, you just have to know what kind of car it is. But I mean, like Jerry Goldsmith's the best.
And he's got some great like Easter eggs in his scores too and stuff. Like
it's a great one.
The Burbs.
But that was his last score. Was Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Oh,
yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Thanks for bringing it down.
I mean, I don't know if it's great.
Thanks, Ralph.
Yeah. But he was in. I love his cameo in Gremlins too.
I know. Also, just like he's like in a tuxedo at a yogurt stand, at a frozen yogurt stand.
Did you know Stevie's birthday is the same as Jerry Goldsmith? And I'm jealous.
No, Ralph. I can confidently say I did not know that, Ralph.
Yeah, February 10th.
When are their birthdays? Their shared birthdays.
February 10th. Yeah.
I'll be sure to wish them both a happy birthday.
Yeah, I love Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah, no, he's one of my favorites.
Yes, Stevie, we know. I mean, we could also talk about this. This is good.
Oh yeah,
like this.
Nick doesn't have any tracks on that, but
not on that vinyl, not on the vinyl, no, because it was they asked me to turn. They loved the end credits song that I'd written.
Yeah.
It was just an instrumental. And asked me to turn it into a song. And so, but it was like right before the deadline for getting the vinyl together. So like I was rushing, and then there was a certain point where Bill Beretta, who plays Dr. Teeth, and he's a producer and everything. And he was like, hey, look, like if you want more time, like don't rush it. We want this to be, we want you to feel good about this. Like just take your time with it. And it's okay. Like there's other songs that we would have to kick off the album as well if we were gonna put it on. Like, and I was like, you know what, that's so fine. It'll just be a digital exclusive. But that was, oh my god, that's one of my favorite things that I got to do, because it was like when I was sending it off to the Muppets to record, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm sending it off to the voice actors or whatever, or to the performers and stuff. And then I would get the tracks back and I'd be listening to it. I'm like, Animal just like got into his like closet or whatever and recorded this and just sent me all his like tracks. And oh my god, the guy who plays Lips was amazing, because Peter, oh my god, I'm blanking on his last name right now. But anyways, Lips Muppets. He yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry, I forget this, but Peter Lentz. Yes. So he just sent me this whole just improv track, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna do a little improv here, and then he just did like all these like interjections and ad libs and stuff, and it's just, I have this like whole like 2-minute track of just random Lips things, and I was just dying listening to it.
I love that.
That's awesome.
People should watch that show. That show's really fun. It's on Disney Plus. Check it out.
Yeah. The Muppets Mayhem.
Yeah.
So Muppets, Penguin, Star Wars, Gremlins, huh?
Gremlins. Yeah.
Have you got anything?
Did they ever do the animated series?
What?
Did they ever do that animated series?
They did. There's 2 seasons of it. I haven't watched it yet, which is it's surprising. But I've been meaning to check that out for a bit. I mean, I'm was just texting with a friend this morning. We were like, oh man, I hope that that was kind of like a proof of concept to be like, all right, is there still interest in all this? And let's hope we get another movie. It's actually, I saw on Twitter today that there was in a Deadline article, it says a new Gremlins from Christopher Columbus and Goonies, and a new Goonies are also getting treatments. So yeah.
So do you go to your agent and say, "Can you please pounce on
Oh,
this?"
I literally immediately texted her the links to the thing, and I was like, "This." I mean, I was like, "This is a long shot, but like, this is like absolutely would be like my favorite thing ever to do."
But I mean, with this year, with
I was gonna say after the year
with,
you've just had, like,
yeah, after 2024, it's like you might have a good chance.
I mean, we'll see. But I'm there's so many other people out there who I'm sure would like are also sending those same texts to. So like,
No, be positive.
yeah.
We'll do a campaign. We'll do a.
Yeah, and I've got this guy, cheering me on.
Yeah.
Mark
That's,
Gremlin.
that's your agent, right?
That this is my agent. Yes, yeah.
I mean,
The brain gremlin.
got a sharp suit.
What?
He's got a sharp suit. He's
got a
pretty
sharp
apart
suit.
already.
Actually, it's funny. When I grabbed him, it fell off. I've got a little Freddie Mercury figure that's about the same size, but it comes with an alternate head, and so I don't know where to put it. So I just usually have him holding Freddie Mercury's head right there, like Hamlet.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's great.
But,
what have you got coming up, Mick? Is there anything that's been announced that you can tell people about? That's
nothing at the moment, but you'll be the first to hear.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Oh, that's a promise, Ralph.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Will it make sense for live action Star Wars?
I assume probably not. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We play like fast and loose with it sometimes anyway, so I'm sure that we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm rooting for you for everything because it's like Penguin knocked it out of the park. Penguin was so fucking good. Skeleton Crew is amazing. Like, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear what's coming down the pipiline. Do you want to get into features? Do you want to get into features or stick to TV?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I think it just depends on the project. Like, I think movies are nice because you have generally, it's not always the case, but it feels like it's like sometimes you have a little bit more time for less music where you can spend more time with it. But the TV shows are really fun too, and it's just like if it's a story that's like exciting and interesting, like it doesn't really matter to me what it is. I mean, it would be cool to be able to go to a movie theater and see it up on the big screen, but yeah.
I mean,
did you get a chance to go to the Skeleton Crew premiere? Were you there?
Yeah, so that was actually in the theater where they would screen Captain EO. Like,
oh wow,
I was in that theater. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that was fun too, because for whatever reason during the dub reviews in episode 2, when the kids are in the cell, like there's that little, I'm sure you guys picked up on the little Pirates of the Caribbean whistle of the guys with the keys. And so I immediately saw David Collins and Matthew Wood right after we got out, and I was like, because I missed it during our reviews somehow, and I don't know, I was like, oh my god, I heard that, and so then we all went and rode Pirates of the Caribbean together afterwards. But
that's great.
Nice.
Oh, great. Anything else? I think I'm good. The series on whole is terrific. I told these guys earlier, Mick, that it is my favorite Star Wars TV show.
Oh, really?
Because, well, I mean, technically Andor doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. Like, it doesn't have that like sense of adventure. It's really good.
Yeah.
But as far as like Star Wars goes, like, and I don't know how you'll take this, but I think this is my favorite thing that Disney's done since Solo, because I absolutely love Solo. I think Solo is amazing, because it is like, I mean, yeah, Han Solo and Chewbacca are in it, but it feels like something new and different.
Yeah.
I think they strike a similar tone as well. I think they both just have that sense of fun and a bit of swashbuckle, and like they're just
Yeah, and like I mean, that was like I had so much fun working on it just because it was like this thing where it's like, oh, you get to be whimsical, you get to be kind of playful, you get to be adventurous, you get to be scary, you get to have moments of sweetness as well, and also like again, my favorite thing to do is just be melodic and have the music be kind of a character and not so much as just kind of like a bed underneath as well, like knowing when to be the bed and knowing when to to come more into focus. But so it just the fact that everyone's been enjoying it so much has been like so special to me, and just that you know people are enjoying it as much as I enjoyed working on it, and again, one of my favorite things about it is that it's its own self-contained story. It doesn't matter what else is happening in the galaxy. Like, it's fun to have these characters jump in and out of things, but I was just excited to be like, okay, it's not like world-ending stakes. It's these emotional stakes for these characters.
But you can take some ownership of it, I guess, as well. So like, if we do happen to see any of these guys again pop up in other shows, like I'd hope that we'd get, so say Jod shows up in, I don't know, a Mandalorian and Grogu movie or something, like to use the pirate theme a bit like there would be great. And I'd hope that would mean that you're getting bought in on that as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, that would be, that'd be amazing. I hope so. We'll see.
Yeah. Who knows? It's Star Wars. Everyone comes back.
Your themes are now Star Wars canon.
Yeah. It's scary but exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard your dad mention on a podcast that like if Penguin shows up in the Batman 2 that he's got to use your theme.
Yeah.
Which is that's fun, dude. It's fun.
I'm curious to see, because it's it'll be with like a giant orchestra that we didn't have on the show, so it'll be fun to hear it in that context in the movie, and see what he does with it.
Or if the Penguin shows up in Mandalorian and Grogu.
It's Patrick, I told you we're not supposed to talk about this. I told you. I texted you beforehand.
I love how both your shows this year have. I'm sorry to spoil like Penguin, but like because Tommy says he's gonna watch it next. Like,
Tommy, maybe like flick away. Yeah.
Your main characters are bad guys. Like they're really.
That's the spoiler, Ralph.
well.
Penguin's a bad guy.
Listen, in both cases, you expect them. I didn't want to get too in the weeds, but you expect them to come out with hearts of gold.
Yeah,
and they do not.
I think all of us, when you prepped us for a spoiler, we were all expecting something else.
Listen,
I'm glad you didn't say it though, because Tommy, go and enjoy it because the show's amazing.
Like Penguins, like you're like, okay, heart of gold. Okay, heart of gold. Here it comes. Here comes the heart of gold. And then it does not. And it's like it's like whatever the opposite of gold is. That
was the most refreshing surprise for me with Skeleton Crew. Was I think all of us assumed that Jod wasn't going to be a good guy, but he would come around in the end and have a heart of gold, and that he'd save the day. He doesn't. He is a bad guy. I think he's, as I said earlier on, I think he is proud of the kids for getting the best of him, but he's still just a pirate. He's still just a bad dude out there, out for himself. Like, he doesn't really care that his crew are gone. He's just there for himself.
I love
that's great. It's refreshing.
Yeah, I was to say that there was a lot of fan art after episode 4 of like Jod and all the kids hugging him, like, and everyone's like, "Found family." It's so like like exactly like parents. And I was like, "Oh, enjoy it for now. Enjoy it till next."
Oh man, he held a lightsaber between a mom and her daughter.
Yeah, he pointed a lightsaber at a lot of people.
Yeah,
it was gnarly.
Like that. Oh my God! One of my favorite reaction or like just moments from Jude Law is when he does point the lightsaber at Farah and Fern, and he has that moment of kind of just serious, and he kind of like smiles like "you forced my hand" thing. Like his performance in this show is just so great.
It's been fantastic. Yeah. Ralph, you mentioned earlier on not ever feeling any sort of real threat for the kids because of the show that we're watching. While that was true, there was a moment where I was like, "Oh, is Wim's dad gonna get it?" Because like he sort of stepped up in his courage and stuff a bit there, and I was like, "Oh no, he could just get impaled here at some point." And
when he started like amping up to like punch Jod, I was like,
"Yeah,
here we go." Yeah, like dad fight.
It's cool seeing like again like musicians in Star Wars as well, like, and because Tunde being the lead singer of TV on the radio, it's great seeing him be in the show and a really good character.
Yeah.
Seeing him on the bike, having a good time,
he's having fun.
Because his whole mantra was like, "I got to go to work. I got to go to work."
Yeah,
and just to take like joy in just riding a bike again.
Oh, and like in like that one line that he has, kind of like in when they're is sitting down and he's like, you didn't think I wanted to like have an adventure and like I wouldn't have wanted to go off and meet a Jedi, you know, and then getting to have that moment with the bike.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really, really nice.
Kids, just make your parents ride bikes, and they'll be better parents.
Yeah, exactly.
The first note that I wrote down when I was watching this episode was parents just don't understand, because like that was sort of just like the setup at the beginning of this episode was just like they're not getting it, and the kids are playing along because they're trying to protect their parents.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things I loved about the show too, is just that it's like the kids felt very real. They didn't like have these like huge moments where like they kind of did anything that was beyond really believably what they could do. Like, you know, there's the moment in episode 7 where Wim like rushes the pirates, and of course they just grab him and like, you know, but then in episode 8 they like do what they can, where it's like, all right, KB's not flying the ship, but she knows how to fix this droid who can help her. Like, and just, you know, they each did what they could, and like without moment, it all felt grounded and believable to me. I think, while still letting them have their moments.
And we've sort of said all along that the overarching thing is going to be the friends we made along the way. And while that is sort of true in a way, it's more a case of the goodness that's out there despite all the shit. And it's like, that's a really nice message for the time that we live in.
John says that, but he's like, there's little slivers of hope out there. Which was very,
but I'll kill as many people as I can for those.
Yeah. I thought he was going to impale himself when he was force pulling that lightsaber, and the kids were holding onto the lightsaber and dragging it towards him.
The wrong way
I thought he was. I'm like, just turn it on, and it's going to go right through him. Like, I was like, that's how he meets his end, but he didn't meet his end. He's still out there, which is great.
Yeah, great.
Jod's a great character. He's a real good bad guy.
So glad to see like Wim not like busting out some force powers or anything like that. It's like who knows what happens in that kid's future, but like right now he doesn't need it.
I think he wants to join the New Republic. It feels like
they're pirate busters.
Reminded me of Broom Boy, but it was better than Broom Boy.
Yeah.
Like it had that same feeling of looking out into the stars and everything, you know, being out on a greater journey. But for Wim, I feel like it's attainable. I feel like he can become, you know, be part of the New Republic somehow. Which would be really nice.
A politician on Hosnian Prime in about 20, 30 years. I thought it was really nice, like the way that maybe called out the New Republic as like the best pirate busters. They're great. That's what they're doing. Like, they're not really good at governing, as we've seen in other shows, but they can certainly go and bust some pirates, and that's all they're doing. They're fighters.
Hey, that's what they did with the Rebel Alliance, was just
that's it. Like that's what they're used to doing is going out and fighting. Like without anything to fight, they're less effective.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't have any. Wonderful show. Great job, Mick.
Thank you. I'm so happy you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us as well. Like it's awesome having you.
Again, anything to defend Glurb.
Justice for Glurb.
You just wanted a little wheat farm.
Patrick, we got your plugs. Mick, do you have anything to plug? Anything you want people to go check out?
Skeleton Crew soundtrack coming out in matter of days.
Great.
Yeah, that's what I got right now. So yeah, go watch the finale that I assume you all watched if you're watching this video.
Yeah. And Penguin. Go watch Penguin.
And Penguin,
if you haven't watched Penguin yet, go watch Penguin.
Very similar vibe.
Totally. They're a really good two-hander.
Oh, Muppets Mayhem. Yes, Muppets Mayhem.
There you go.
Patrick, open your record.
I know.
Keeping it sealed. No, don't do it.
I mean, Patrick's had other things going on this week, so I think we can forgive him.
I had to leave my house.
Fine. Are you back or?
I'm back. Yeah.
Good.
It was fine, but right on the line of evacuation.
Oh no, we were in the same situation. Yeah. And it was just like, you know what? I don't want to be in a moment where like in the middle of the night, there's just like, get the hell out of here, you know? And so it's like, all right, let's grab the important stuff and we'll come back in a few days.
Glad that both of you are safe and that everything's like, wow, it's hard to say everything's all right, but it's better than it could have been. But yeah, on that note as well, like we mentioned at the top of the show, but for anyone who joined us later, Patrick has got a fundraiser on Monday.
12 p.m. Eastern, probably through midnight. We'll find out. I don't know how long it's going to go. George Lucas Talk Show. It's on twitch.tv/friendzone, raising money for California Community Foundation, which is a wildfire relief fund. And we've already raised $1,100. I want to raise like 40,000. So we'll see. That's around what we normally do. So
I think a couple of Giacchinos have been on a George Lucas Talk show.
Your father
before.
and your uncle have been on.
Oh yeah.
We got to get Nick on. Maybe we'll get Nick on.
I would love to. I would love to.
Okay. All right, we'll chat.
Yeah. Also, again, if you, I guess the other thing to plug is just like, if you want to donate to the fire department, that's, they were doing great work out here.
Yeah.
There's countless other organizations as well. So, but definitely tune into Patrick's show.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool. I think that's good. Thanks for everybody for joining us in the chat. I don't know when live action Star Wars will be back. James and I will be doing our Invincible show fairly soon. And
I mean,
again,
the next couple
James
of weeks
is in the
crazy.
middle of moving.
I'm moving house. Yeah,
and a baby's coming anytime.
I mean, hopefully not anytime because we're not prepared for that yet. But in a couple of months.
Oh, you got a couple months.
We got beginning of April. But yeah, before that, I've got a whole house to move. So that's coming really soon. Invincipod will be back with episodes as soon as that show starts. Beginning of February?
I think so.
Oh, wait, Ralph, I should plug our live shows that we have coming up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
February 1st in San Francisco, we're doing George Lucas Talk Show. Rob Corddry, Nina West, John Morris, who played Andy in the Toy Story movies, and Mo Willems, children's book author. February 2nd, San Francisco, we're doing a live reading of the holiday special with an insane cast.
I'll be watching.
Yep. And then February 4th at Dynasty Typewriter, we have 2 shows in Los Angeles. Those are live streaming and in-person tickets are available. So grab those.
Do you have any exclusives you can give us for the live reading of the holiday special?
Sure. I may have locked in some performers to work on the thing that Mick redid the music for.
Ooh.
Oh, like a video thing? Like a video demonstration?
I'm not gonna say what.
Oh, did you get mum shots?
Are they dead, Ralph? They have to be dead.
What? Shots aren't dead.
Okay. It's going to be very cool. And if you come to San Francisco,
Stevie and I are driving up to San Francisco just to watch that show.
That's awesome. Great. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
And if you haven't seen any of those live readings of the Star Wars scripts, check them out at George Lucas Talk Show's YouTube channel.
So good. Yeah.
They're so good. Nick, if you haven't seen these things, they're hilarious.
No, I haven't.
Comedians, actors, and performers do live stage readings of Europe you've done the prequels so far.
Yeah.
Of the scripts, the original George Lucas scripts, and there's some improv involved, and there's some hijinks. Dude, I'll send you a link.
Oh yeah, there's so much fun. I gotta come check one of these out.
Yeah.
And then the March, you're starting with episode 4. You're doing New Hope.
Great.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I tried to watch them on my exercise bike and end up having to stop because I'm laughing my ass off and I can't just concentrate.
So good.
Hey, look, that's a good ab workout as well. You're still like
sure.
Crunches. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. This was a
new episode of
Top
10 Tacos out this week as well. If
anyone
anyone wants to hear about some
already.
tacos in Scotland this week.
Yeah, if you want to know what the taco situation's like in the UK, James and Liz, they rank tacos in the UK. Yeah,
good ones.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Mick, thank you for joining us. Patrick, glad you're back. We'll see you soon. Mick, we'll have to have you on again sometime. That'd be amazing.
Would love to anytime.
Cool.
All right.
Hey, boy.
Until Invincipod in February. Don't give in to hate.
Celebrate the love.
Punch it.